Greetings, I, Mr. P, greet you. In today's video we're going to discuss CSGO. Is it dead or not? Not really, but anyway. Today we're going to finish off setting up this scene for our script. So to do that we're going to need to implement some kind of floor for our player to stand on. We're going to need to put in a collider for our player so he can actually interact with the floor. We'll need to put in a rigid body or something that we can use to move the player left and right and get him to jump up into the air. And we also need to finish off our animator. So let's get into it. First things first, let's put in a floor. To do that, we're going to go to our background in our hierarchy. We're going to right click on it and create an empty. Now I'm going to call this ground. Alright, so at the moment you can see it here, this circle is our ground and it doesn't have anything in it. So let's add a box collider 2D to it. So if we type in col or collider and box collider 2D, alright, you can see this big green box here now. Alright, you can only see it in scene. If you go to game, it will be invisible. So what we're going to do is we're going to scale it up so that our box is as wide as our background. Alright, you can do that in the size X here of the box collider. Alright, and then on our Y, I'm going to scale it down so that the top of the box roughly lines up with this line on the tiles here in our game. Alright, so now I've done that, I'm just going to hide it again, and then let's move on to our player. So first things first, let's add a rigid body to our player. We're going to add a rigid body 2D, as it's a 2D game, and that will enable us to use gravity and things like that. Alright, gives us a physics. Alright, now we've got that, if we press play, he's just going to fall straight through the world. Right? He's not going to interact with our ground at all, because he doesn't have a collider on him either. So let's add a collider to him as well. The box collider will be fine for this. Alright, so you can now see the green box. I'm going to scale it down a little bit, just so it is a little bit closer to his main body. Actually, I'm going to leave it as wide as his feet, and I'm going to scale it down on the Y. So it's just a little narrow bar, and then I'm going to offset it on the Y, so that it's around about his feet level. Alright, so I'm just going to use this box collider here to do my ground checking. So I'm going to use it for anything else. So I might even make it a little bit smaller on the X. Alright, so it's about the center of his model. Perfect. Alright, so if we press play now, we should find that he will stand on top of our invisible ground line there. Perfect. Alright, so let's look at our animations now. So if we go into our player controller again, now there's a few problems we had with it. If we press play and we jump into our game, our idle is fine. We like our idle. Alright. If we change it to 1, right, there's a bit of a delay there. Now, let's get rid of that delay. So if we press play and then go from our idle to our walk, so that's this transform here, you can see it has an exit time. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to open up my settings, and you see it's got a fixed duration and a transition duration. Alright, so I'm going to turn off its fixed duration, and I'm also going to set its transition duration to 0. And what that'll do is it'll allow it to jump straight from idle to walk. Alright, and I also want it to go back the other way. So from walk to idle, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So it has exit times off, fixed durations off, and it's set to 0. Now, I also want to do this for idle down to crouch, and idle down towards jump. I'm also going to do this from walk to jump. Right, I'm not going to do it from jump to walk because I want it to finish its jumping animation. And I'm not going to do it from crouch. Actually, I will do it for crouch. If you're going to do a half crouch, that's fine. I'm also going to do it from idle up to Hadouken. and walk. Alright, so I've pretty much changed all of them except for the jump and the Hadouken. So jump going anywhere, I want it to finish its animation, and Hadouken going back to idle, I want it to finish its animation. So the other problem we're having with our animator, alright, so our walk is fine. If we go to jump, is that our jump is looping. Now we don't want it to loop. So what we're going to do is, if you double click on your jump in your animator, you'll have loop time. So I'm going to set that off. I'm going to do that for crouch as well, and for Hadouken. So if we test this one more time, alright, you can see he's doing the jump animation and then he's pausing. So let's see if our crouch is doing the same. Yes, he's crouching. Excellent. We'll go back to 0 for our idle, and then up to 4 for our Hadouken. Seems like my Hadouken might have an extra frame in it. Alright, so now that we've got our animator all set up, and we've got our player all set up, we can start coding. And we'll do that in the next video. See you there, guys.